Well, that was certainly a Nintendo Direct that they just had. Uh, Figure we talk about it a little bit today. I was initially going to do a live reaction, but honestly, this week I've just been too tired. I just kind of passed out and needed to get a little bit of rest. It's been a long, long week. So, figure we go through some of the announcements here. I'll talk about kind of the main highlights of the things I'm excited for. Starting off, they talked about the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary. Crazy to think that this franchise is already 40 years old. They opened the presentation talking about some of the stuff that's going to be going on at the Kyoto Museum, which I have yet to have been to, which is kind of cool. It looks like they're going to have a lot of of the original hand drawn artwork up, as well as some new kind of like tickets or something like that. I don't really know exactly what that's about. They did also mention, of course, that they've got the new park opening up in Florida, which is pretty much the same as, you know, the other stuff that's already been opened in Osaka as well as Hollywood. They are going to be partnering with the Kyoto Marathon next year in 2026, which is kind of cool. So, Joe, if you're listening to this, you should come to Kyoto and run this marathon so you can get a little cool little nameplate with Nintendo written on it, and then you can give it to me, and then I can have it without having to run in a marathon. So, let's please make that happen. uh, a really big announcement after that was, of course, the sequel to the very successful Super Mario Bros. Movie that'll be coming out early next year, which is shocking. I feel like the Mario Brothers movie just came out, but I guess we're already due for the sequel. And they had rumored that it was going to be called Super Mario World, but they skipped over World and went right to Super Mario Galaxy, the movie. Wow. I was very surprised to hear about that. That is an awesome announcement. I have a theory about why that is. I think that Nintendo was sort of, I think Nintendo usually looks at things at like 10-year intervals. They're like, okay, we're going to look at this through like for 10 years. What are we going to do for the next 10 years, right? And I think that when they planned out the first Mario movie, they were like, well, if this is successful, we have to have a path for the franchise. We don't want to do another Star Wars thing here where we mess up the second movie and then we just, fall off a cliff. I think that they said to themselves, look, the first story makes a lot of sense. It's classic. Do it. Fine. I think doing a Super Mario World movie is kind of safe and kind of boring. Also, Sunshine is a good story, but it's too weird. People are going to be like, what's this? Why is this? This is kind of strange. I don't like this idea. But Galaxy that's really the first time I feel like they really tried to go Hollywood with Mario. They got an orchestral score. They really went all out with the story. They added the new character of Rosalina. There's actually a really good emotional story with her in the with that storybook that she reads about herself. So I'm I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. If you were to say, Logan, what's the best story of a game that you feel could be turned into a movie? I would have told you Galaxy. Galaxy is, of course, the no-brainer in that situation. And with the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, of course, they had to give us Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I'm very happy it's coming to the Switch. I was a little concerned that they were going to put this behind, only Switch 2 is going to get this. It's, going to be optimized for Switch 2, and you got to get that console to have this experience. Really glad they're just giving it to Switch 1 owners as well, because I remember that was, Mario Galaxy 2 was famously missing from the All-Stars collection. I myself have an All-Stars collection. I have it physically and digitally. So thankfully, I only have to buy Galaxy 2 digitally by itself, which you can do. You can totally buy these separately, which is great. However, Nintendo being Nintendo has, to me, screwed this price up. When the 3D All-Stars collection originally came out, the whole package was $60 for 3 games, and people were not happy about it. They're like, well, that's like $20 a game. These games are really old. This should be more like $40, because 64 is really old. It hasn't aged that well. People don't really care for Sunshine, even though I love it. Uh, it's a pretty controversial Mario game, so you could argue that the only really, game in this pack that's worth it is Galaxy One, and it was $60, and I thought that was a fair price. It's fine. I've played a lot of it. I've really enjoyed it. However, I guess Nintendo is done with that price market, even for the original Switch. They have priced the collection together at $70 for the pack together. That's a lot of money. That's the same cost as Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's like, what? If you want to get them separately, also, they are $40 a piece. So if you bought them separately, they're 80. If you buy them together, they're 70. So 80 to sorry, excuse me. They are $70 together and they are $80 separate. That's wild. $40 is the cost of a 3DS game. Like, these games are just really old. I am happy to see that they are coming out with Amiibo. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited about that. I will be picking up those Amiibo because they're very, very cool. However, I was initially going to buy the dual pack physically just because I wanted to have it for the collection, as well as buying the digital version of Galaxy 2. But now I think I'm just going to wait for them all to go on sale or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of this $70 price point is really kind of my breaking point here. It's really, I used to not have a problem going out and buying a Switch game because it's like, it's $50, it's $60, whatever. But now when it's like 70, 80, it's like, okay, I'm now going to be more choosy with what I'm going to buy because I can't buy an $80 game every single month or every other month. That's just crazy. One thing though that is relatively inexpensive that they announced that I think is great is that Rosalina's Storybook is actually coming out in a physical version, which is awesome. I went ahead and looked it up online. I pre-ordered it here in Japan because I wanted a Japanese version and an English version back in the States. Right now, you can't get it for pre-order in the States, but I did get it for pre-order in Japan already. Thankfully, that's only like $24. That's not that big a deal. I'm glad they're not trying to charge you 50 for it. Overall, it's kind of sweet and sour with this announcement. I probably am just going to buy the digital version of, Galaxy 2. But here's hoping that maybe, they can lower that cost over time, or maybe there'll be some like Amazon sale or something. I'll pick up the physical version later in life. Let's see here. The next announcement was a new Mario Tennis game called Mario Tennis Fever. To be honest with you, I groaned when I saw this because I still have Mario Tennis Aces, and I'm honestly just fine with that. Because now when I look at these games, I'm like, well, that's Mario Tennis Aces. Oh, it's cool. It's kind of fine. Is it $70 fine? Because that's what they're going to ask for. And then any DLC on top of that, it's like, well, now I'm like, well, $60 is kind of my limit for these kind of like, sports titles. And it's like, I still have aces and that's totally fine. So I don't feel the need to go rush out and pick this up, especially because we'll probably get a golf game here in the next couple of years. We'll probably get, another, whatever. What's the other sport that they do for that guy? I don't know. Anyway, probably going to pass on this because of the cost. If it was 50, $60, maybe, but at $70, there's just no way I'm touching it. I am happy to see that Mario Wonder is getting a Switch 2 edition. However, once again, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a $20 upgrade, which I'm not looking forward to because I'm not that interested in that Bell Park or whatever that was. That's all multiplayer based. I don't really play multiplayer, especially with like Mario Wonder. So that was kind of disappointing. I was hoping it was going to be like a whole new world or something you can unlock where there's all these new levels and stuff to do. But it's not. It's just all versus stuff, and I don't know. I'm sure the frame rate's going to be great. Hopefully they'll give us this free if we're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, because I don't see myself paying $20 for this. This is going to be the theme, unfortunately, for the Nintendo Direct now. Is like I'm very excited for these things. I really think these are cool ideas, but you're just charging too much money. I can't justify spending $20 here, $20 there, $70 here, $80 there. It's like you've kind of priced me out here. If this was like a $5 upgrade, sure. Maybe even 10 is pushing it, but it's like, dude, you want the complete Mario Wonder package to be $80? It's just like, come on, man. Like that's uh, kind of disappointing, but what can you do? It is interesting that the little flower guy is going to be a physical actual product. Uh, Initially, I was thinking about getting him once again, depending on the cost. I don't know what they're going to charge for him, but the idea that he does talk randomly sounds like it could like really scare the hell out of you. Like if I'm just sitting in my room, hanging out, doing something, reading a book, and then in the corner of the room, I just hear like "Hello there." I'm just like, "Duh!" Like it's gonna like it's trying to give me a heart attack here. Like what in the world is that thing talking for? And then the final announcement for the Mario 40th anniversary section of the Nintendo Direct was a new Yoshi game. I initially was very excited for this because it looked like it was going to be a potential like spiritual successor or sequel to uh, Yoshi's Island. But then as I started watching it, it was like it's like more of this like learning puzzle game kind of thing. It seems to be more about, like, interacting with the world and, like, solving puzzles rather than, like, a mission from to get from, like, A to B. It's like, "Oh, here's a situation. Why don't you solve the situation?" It's kinda like Snipper Clips. It reminds me of Yoshi Snipper Clips, where they drop you into this little level area, you walk around, you solve the problem, and then you get like check marks for how fast you did it, or did you do the sub objective, or did you do it in a certain way, or yada yada yada. And it's like, eh, it's okay. It looks fine. I need to see more. Show me more about this game, and I might be on board. But as of right now, I'm not too sold on it. Once again, because of the price. It's like this. Oh, this will probably be a $70 or an $80 game, depending on what's happening with it. But it is called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It comes out in 2026. I needed to see a little bit more. What's the hook? Like, why should I get this, Nintendo? Yeah, sell me on it. I'm dying to know why. After that, they showed a couple of third-party titles, which I wasn't really too interested in until they eventually got to Tomodachi Life. Now, Tomodachi Life, I did not play the first one. I heard a lot of great things about it. It got a lot of good press from people. It looks really fun. I'd like to give it a try. I hope this is a title where they give you a demo option for it before it comes out, because I'd like to give it a try before buying it. Um, Once again, the price is going to really matter a lot. When it was $40 on the 3DS, that was one thing, but now you're going to ask for $70 on the Switch too, or the Switch, because you're charging $70 for Mario on the original. Sorry, Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are going to be $70 on the original Switch. There is no Switch 2 version of that. So am I to assume that every Switch game releasing from now on will also be $70? So is Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven both going to be 70? I'm concerned. I have some concerns. I'm betting they probably are. And which unfortunately is probably going to kill the sales for both of those games, and people are going to go, look, see, no one likes Rhythm Heaven. It's like, right, but dude, no one's going to pay $70 for Rhythm Heaven. Like, that's a $50 experience, dude. Like, that's a cheap, have some fun, little rhythm based stuff. It's going to be hard to tell somebody to spend almost $100 on that. Then they showed a few more third-party titles, including like Hades 2 and some other things that looked kind of okay and interesting, until they got to the Kirby section where they showed the new amiibos, which I was surprised that Sakurai didn't show off himself. Uh, However, I will say that I will definitely be getting these amiibos. Uh, I'm kind of scared because they said these are the two that are available right now, but there's going to be more on the way, and you could swap the writers. So the more Kirby Air Riders amiibos you have, the crazier the combinations you can make. So I'm a little nervous how many Air Riders amiibos are going to be available, because they said more are coming in future updates, which I'm assuming Sakurai is going to talk about in his future direct. So my wallet's a little scared because the last time Sakurai had a game that had amiibos coming out, it was the Smash Brothers line of amiibo, and I now have like 80 amiibo. So please just just make like 5 or 6. Like that's it, right? I don't need any more than that. Please. Uh then they announced I guess they showed off the new Hyrule title. I don't really remember it. It's the whatever that game is called. Uh the Hyrule Warriors title. That's what it's called. It's coming out November 6th. Looks okay. I won't be picking it up. I don't care about the Warriors games that much, but hey, that's great. I'm glad it's got a release date. I'm glad it's coming out this year and it's not delayed. Good on you. The next title that they announced, though, that I think a lot of people would be very excited about, not me personally, but was a remake or another remake of Dragon Quest VII. I know that this had a kind of a pseudo remake on the 3DS, which I did pick up and play for a little bit, and it was okay. It was kind of cute. I just can't get into Dragon Quest. I don't know what it is. I try and I try, but I don't know what it is. I just can't get into it. I don't really care for the art style too much. I want to love it. I want to love it, but I just can't. I don't know. It's never clicked with me for some reason. I don't get it. But I'm so glad that it is coming out. There's a ton of people that I follow that love it. I'm glad for them. They're getting another remake of this classic title, but I'm probably gonna pass. I don't think. I don't know. I still need to go back to the Dragon Quest III remake that I have. I have not finished that yet, and for me, it's kind of a slog to get through. I'm not loving it that much, but I don't know. I need to find somebody that loves these games so they can help me fall in love with these games too. Because it looks cool, it looks fun, but I don't know. Maybe it's just not for me. And then Koizumi-san came out and he announced that we are going to have Kirby themes now for the new Nintendo Today application, as well as Virtual Boy is coming to the Nintendo Classics online line or whatever thing, the Nintendo Switch Online games. However, he said, and I haven't been able to confirm this anywhere yet, that it requires you to have a piece of hardware to play it. You need to put your Switch console inside the device to use it. You can't just play it on the TV like a normal game. You have to play it in stereoscopic 3D. So they are, for the first time ever, reselling the Virtual Boy body that you can put your Switch 2 or Switch 1 inside of. I guess they're going to release all of the titles simultaneously. It's coming out February 17th. They are also releasing a cardboard version if you don't want to spend the $100 to get the whole body. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm honestly really torn. Part of me wants to buy this because I want to own like every Nintendo console that they ever put out, and I don't have a Virtual Boy. And this would basically be the same thing, but much cheaper. So I don't know. Maybe someday I'll buy this. I don't know. I'm a huge Nintendo freak guy, so maybe I will end up buying this and I'll just be a total loser. But it's cool. My collector side wants it, but my logical side is like, Logan, that's dumb. Don't don't buy that. That's stupid. You don't need it. But then my collector side is like, yeah, but it'll come in its own box and the box will be retro style and it'll be cool, dude. You should get it. And it's like, no, stop it. I don't know. Hopefully I can fight off the demons and the urge to try to buy it. We'll see. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just buy it in Japan so it'll be cheaper for me. I don't know. We'll see. After that, they did announce a remake of a Fatal Frame title, which looks really pretty, looks really nice. I probably will pass. I don't really play the Fatal Frame games. I'm more of a Resident Evil kind of guy. But I'm glad it's coming out. I'm glad that Switch is still getting love from the Fatal Frame franchise. I really highly associate that with Nintendo, so it's good that it's still, it's still coming to the console. And then they showed off another kind of sizzle reel of a bunch of other stuff coming out. A lot of Switch 2 editions, like Stardew Valley's getting a Switch 2 edition. There's a couple of other things that looked kind of interesting. And I was like, good. I'm glad that they are continuing on with the Switch 2 editions. Please, please give us more of that. But then the big one. They gave us the big one, the one that I was waiting for. It was Metroid Prime 4 with a release date announcement. Not only that, but Samus has a bad looking bike she's driving around, and it even looks like there's some open world sections to this where it's like, oh, she could just like drive around the desert. And I was kind of getting a little bit of like Beast Wars vibes because there's just like mountains surrounding you and you're driving around the desert. And I was like, this looks pretty cool. She's jumping off of like ramps and, then she jumps off of the bike and she goes right back to like shooting and solving puzzles and getting the bad guys and stuff. And I was like, this looks sweet. I'm loving the look of this. Everything about this trailer I loved except for the release date. I was really hoping this was going to be in October or like a November or something kind of title. I know it's totally selfish, but I'll be going home this December to visit family, and I really this really bumps up to my trip. Like this comes out like literally like 7 to 10 days before my trip, and I kind of want to relax and take my time and play this game on this really nice new monitor that I just got. And I don't want to like have to feel like I'm rushing through the game so I can beat it before I go home for Christmas. Because when I go home for Christmas, I'm spending time with family. I'm not sitting around playing video games. And it's gonna be, burning a hole in my pocket that I've got this new Metroid title and I can't play it because I've got other stuff I want to do. However, I am very happy that they are releasing new Metroid Prime amiibo. There are 3. There's just the regular Samus by herself, Samus with a bike, and then the new big baddie is coming. I will be getting definitely all 3 of those. That bike is sick. I'm so glad that's an amiibo. That's really cool. So yeah, glad that that's coming. After that, they showed off the new DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks fantastic. The whole time I was playing Bonanza, I was like, dude, they better have Donkey Kong Island. They better have Donkey Kong Island. And I was really disappointed when I beat the game and it was like, oh, no DK Island. And I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But now we've got it. We've got it here with DLC, with a whole new mode called like Emerald Rush, where you're like rushing around and beating up, rocks and getting times or getting points or whatever. I don't know. I was more looking at the aesthetic of the place. I love the fact that you've got access to the island now. Uh, kind of a bummer. It's $20. It's once again, that's kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping that maybe we could get the DLC with an online subscription. Because now if you look at Donkey Kong Bonanza as an entire whole complete product, if you want everything, including the DLC, it's a $90 game. It's like, wow. And we now know that if Mario Kart World gets DLC, that's going to be $100 game. And it's like, that's a lot of money. So I don't know. I probably will get this because this is actually something I really, really want. Uh, but at the same time, it is a bummer. But the world looks great. It looks really, really cool. I love Donkey Kong Island, and I love that old Rare aesthetic. I might have to pick this up because this looks actually pretty sick. Next, they showed kind of a weird, like, Ditto Pokemon Minecraft kind of title where you, like, kind of build your own area and your own little island and you farm, and it's like Pokemon Minecraft Farm Simulator. Uh, it looked really cute. I like Ditto. It was called Pokemon Pokopia. Okay, that's fine. I probably will pass. But I don't know. Well, let's see how it reviews. I'm curious to see what people think about it when they get their hands on it. This could be a sleeper. This could be something where people were like, it doesn't look that great. But then when they play it, they're like, dude, it's so addictive. It's so much fun. You could play it forever. It could go one of 2 ways. It could be really boring for children, or it could be super, super addictive. After that, of course, they did show the other Pokemon title. It's coming out now called Legends ZA. Once again, it still looks fine. I have a pre-order for this reserved. So out here, the way that my pre-orders are done are you just put your name down for it. You don't pay any money up front, which is really nice. So if I see that the performance is bad, or if I see that I kind of actually changed my mind and I don't want it, I can always just not go pick it up. And right now I'm 50-50 on ZA, whether or not I'm going to pick it up or not. I kind of want to try it, but at the same time, I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see what happens when ZA finally comes out, whether or not I pick it up or not. Then they continue to show some more third-party titles, such as like Monster Hunter. What was it? Monster Hunter Stories 3, and surprisingly, they showed off the three newest versions of, or the newest iterations of Resident Evil. So, Requiem, the newest one, 9, that's coming out, that will be launching on Switch, as well as 7 and 8, apparently all the same day, which is great. Disappointed, the games I really wanted, being Resident Evil 2 and 4, are not here yet on the Switch too. But hopefully in time we will get those titles as well. And then the big bad finale that they showed off, the one more thing, was, of course, the new Fire Emblem title. I don't know much about Fire Emblem. This seems to be a direct sequel to Three Houses, because we see that green character from Three Houses show up at the end of the trailer. But this one is called Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Looks okay. I don't know. I might check this out. Once again, I need to see more about it. This seems to be a Switch 2 exclusive, which is good, which means they'll probably be a little bit more ambitious with the performance and the graphics and what they're going to do with it. Overall, it looks really good. Comes out in 2026, so we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming out in 2026. Overall, I think the Direct was very, very good. There's a lot of stuff I'm really excited about here. Some of the prices have me a little concerned and a little hesitant, but overall, I am excited about Mario Galaxy 2. That is coming out later, not this month, sorry. It's coming out October 2nd, so in like 3 weeks, which is great. I'm glad that Metroid finally has a release date. It's like, thank you for finally having a release date. I did not want to wait for that title anymore. Overall, if I were to give the entire Direct a rating, I'd say it's probably a good solid B. It's a really good B. And I rate these kind of things based off of not just is it good for me, but is it good for other people? You know, I may not jump for joy and love Fire Emblem, but I know that there's a huge fan base for it that absolutely adores it. So I'm glad that other people are getting the representation. I'm glad that they're getting the franchises that they love. I'm glad that mine also got recognized with Metroid Prime 4 finally getting a release date. We're also getting awesome amiibo for it. We're getting a ton of really great amiibo. The Mario Galaxy amiibo, I love. I love the Metroid amiibo. I love the Kirby amiibo. Like, I'm glad that they have not ditched this. They're starting to sell more physical products, which I absolutely love. I mean, we're getting that Rosalina storybook, which I think is really, really cool. And even the little Mario Wonder flower thing is kind of kooky and fun. Like, I love it. Like, keep doing that stuff. We are also getting the Virtual Boy. I forgot about that. We're getting a physical Virtual Boy, which is really strange. Uh, yeah, really, really cool, awesome stuff. The prices have me a little hesitant. I'm gonna be more picky and choosy this generation. With the original Switch, a lot of stuff was cheaper and a lot more budget friendly. Now it's very expensive, including with the DLC. So now I'm gonna have to be more picky and choosy. That's just the way that it's gonna be when the prices go up. But overall, great job, Nintendo. Super excited for next year. They've reinvigorated my excitement for the Switch 2. I was starting to dip off there in August, like nothing's coming out. What am I excited for? Now we got a ton of stuff to be excited for. Super excited, like ready to go for 2026. Joe, come do the Kyoto Marathon. Go get me that Nintendo medal. Come on. Do it. Only if you want to. But thank you everybody for stopping by and listening to this. And always, and for real this time, take care of each other out there.